Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So, I have been getting a lot of grief from some certain people that I need to make another video. And I explained that I was not going to make them consistently. I was not going to do them every day. It was simply when I had time and when I felt another video was necessary. Time is not something that I have plenty of. I am quite broke, and yet I have more money than I do have time. Yeah. But I figure I have some time today. That's probably going to be a rare occurrence, so I might as well make the video that I've been wanting to make for a while. I just moved into college. I'm in my dorm room right now, and my roommates are currently out, so I figured it'd be a good time to do it while they didn't think that I was talking to myself. And I really do not feel well today. My backpack has been particularly heavy, so my shoulders are killing me right now, and I probably need to drink some water. But when I'm too lazy to play video games, that's lazy. But this video needs to get made, and I think I kind of talked about what I wanted to do in this video. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just came up with this and just wrote it all down. But I said that this channel was going to be about me making videos about songs, whether or not they're good, why they're good, yada, 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 yada. The whole goal is to help you understand and be able to do this for yourself so that you can listen to a song and say, that's good, or no, that guy sucks. And so in order to do this, I wanted to make a few videos just based on what I wrote out, the standards that I use for music. And so I think what I'm going to do is I posted my first music video, and then I'm going to do this video, which is the first section of school, music school, essentially. And then I'll do another music video, and then the next section of notes. So I only have 3 sections of notes, so I'll only do 3 videos on that, but I'll kind of balance it out either one because I've got a few songs that people have requested, and I want to get those done, as well as a few others that I found really good. If you want to find new music, Spotify is the way to go. All right. Sorry. Let's see if I can do this. Figure this out here. See if I can do this without it being too weird. Perfect. Putting up my iPad up here so that I have notes so that I can read off of them. So this school that I talked about, it's teaching what I call music theory. Not really like the music theory you learn when you play the piano or when you play an instrument, but more of just how you can define what music is good and bad, essentially. It's a comprehension theory. There have been the past greats like the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Frankie Valli, Kiss, and Billy Joel. People who really understood what made music really good and really appeased to the listener, and that's why they're so famous. Even if you don't listen to them, even if you think, oh, they're too old, whatever, they're still very famous. They still make a lot of money despite most of them being dead. And then there's current people like Avicii, Walk the Moon, Imagine Dragons, Taylor Swift, Nicki Minaj. Whether you think they're good or not, I'm sorry to say, all those people that I just listed are very good. They're very good musicians. They do make good music. They may get made fun of a lot, but their music is actually good. Um, so I've got two general rules with music that I've come to learn. And the first one is that music is art. And something you've probably heard a lot is that art is impressionable. What that means is that it's really up to the person who's looking at it or who's listening to it or doing whatever to make in their mind what they want it to be. And music is the same way. Not all music is likable to every single person. A lot of people don't like rap. A lot of people don't like country. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that the person, it doesn't click with their personality. It doesn't click with their mind. But everyone has their own taste. And my first rule is you have your own taste. And you can't let anyone tell you whether or not your taste is good. If you like Justin Bieber, go ahead. I honestly think his first song was good just because it fit with his voice. It was put together well. The rest of his songs, not so much. His voice changed, he stopped caring, and it's all about the money for him. But if you like him, you like him. That's your taste. You go for it. Most people don't really know what makes music good. Kind of why they think most of Justin Bieber's songs are still good. Why they think bands like, what's a good one? I'm trying to think of a new one off the top of my head. I honestly can't think of one that sticks out as not being super duper good. So people will say that they know music. They'll say, oh yeah, I listen to lots of music. I know what's good. But if you ask them to tell you why Walk the Moon played at New Year's Eve in, I want to call it Town Square. That's not right. Where was New Year's Eve? I'm having a total brain fart right now. Times Square. Yes, Times Square in New York. I think. That sounds right. They played there for New Year's Eve, the big blowout, whatever. If you ask them to tell you why that band was chosen, and they can't give you any other reason other than they're good and they're popular, they really don't know music. So their opinion really doesn't matter. If they say that you don't have good taste in music, what does it matter to you? So, there is a difference between good music and bad music. While music is impressionable and everyone has their own taste, there is a difference. I mean, you can hear someone who sounds absolutely terrible versus someone who's good and tell that there's a difference. And my job is to help you to figure out what that is. Let's see. There are a few bands that I do not like. They are Bruno Mars. I'll explain why for each one. Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars has a few good songs that I like. Payphone happens to be one of them, surprisingly. I used to like Grenade. Kind of got overplayed a little bit too much. Now it's annoying. The rest of their music, I don't think he's a very good singer, and it's a little repetitive in some of his songs. His whole stunt at the Super Bowl with what's her name? I can't remember her name. And my brain is totally skipping out right now. But if you watch the Super Bowl, you watch the halftime show, you watch him, I think it was Shakira. I think it was Shakira. Um, they did a very pro Black Panther thing, very pro Black Lives Matter. That's just not okay with me. So their band, I don't listen to, I don't like. You'll probably even hear me complain about it if it's played. Um, but if you like it, that's your thing. Adele. I I think Adele has a really good voice, and I think she knows how to use it. She has a very poor choice in lyrics, and a lot of her songs are just really monotonous, and so I'm not a huge Adele fan. Um, I'll probably complain a little bit if you hear me, and I have to listen to that artist. Um, the writer and guy who sings Gangnam Style. And I better be careful because I have some South Korean roommates. I cannot stand the song. Period. No questions asked. I can't stand it. Few reasons. One, it's a terrible song. He doesn't have a very good singing voice. It's extremely, extremely repetitive. And I don't understand why it became popular here. Here was the only place it became popular. It wasn't popular in South Korea. It wasn't popular in any other country but here. And I hate it. I also have some issues with the singer himself. He has sung some very unpleasant songs that he wrote about our country and its soldiers, and that just doesn't fly with me. Um, and Queen. Queen, I never liked Queen. And I, outside of maybe one song, um, their lyrics just don't make sense. I mean, they're just about random crap, and I really don't see the point of their songs. They have really good voices. They're very good at being in sync. Their music is interesting, but their lyrics are. I mean, it doesn't compute with a band that has good music. Um, I am extremely open to any music. I like songs in every genre. Um, I'm not a huge classical fan, but I will listen to it. My aunt is, and I think it's super awesome. I think it definitely helps with concentration, with learning, but it doesn't give me what I want from music. Um, Second rule is, like I said, that there's good music in every genre. And I really think this is the gateway rule because once you understand this rule, you'll be able to see music in a different light. You'll be able to tell, okay, this music's good, this music's not. Um, but before you get to that step, you have to break down those barriers of thinking that if you have a if you think one entire genre is bad or it sucks, whatever, you're never really going to understand music because it's not true. There are good rap songs, there are good country songs, there are good pop songs. There are very few good dubstep songs, but there are good music in every genre, and that's going to be your biggest barrier is breaking down those walls. So, I have a challenge. If you want to do this, or if you think, oh, I don't have any biases towards music, love all music. Here's my challenge. Find a genre that you think you may not like. You think that it sucks. Uh, Country, for example. Country is probably the biggest one that I hear. I've heard that country music only talks about um, drinking beer, driving in your truck, shooting guns, hunting. Essentially everything you do when you go out into the country. While there are 30% of the songs that talk about that, and almost every song includes one part of that, that's not what country music is about. Um, if you, let's see, it says, I'm country to my very core, which if you know me, you know that I am. I'm in here studying agriculture. I'm literally going to school to study cows. If that's not country, I don't know what is. Um, let's see. Some of this I wrote out, so I'm trying to read it. Not all songs talk about getting drunk, though quite a bit do, but so does almost every song. So every song talks about love. Every song talks about cars, drugs, alcohol, sleeping with girls. I mean, that's what music is, for the most part, about. Um, let's see. I would say only 20% of the songs talk about trucks, but how many rap songs don't mention any type of dope cars? And then name one other genre of music that talks about being a decent person, a good father, working hard, or respecting others. There isn't one, actually. Country music's probably the only one that has a positive message most of the time. Um, that's just the truth, whether you like it or not. Let's see. If you were so, my challenge was, if you didn't like country music, turn on a country channel and listen to it until you find a country song that you like. Um, doesn't mean you have to download it to your phone. Doesn't mean you have to listen to it all the time. But you need to recognize that there are good country songs, there are good rap songs, there are good songs in every single genre. Let's see. If you want any suggestions on any genre, I'm happy to give you some. Just reply in the comments, say I'm looking for a few good country songs, looking for a few good rap songs, and maybe even a little bit more of what you're looking for. I can give you some very good options. Probably most of them will be clean, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to give you some options. I will be playing all kinds of music. I'm not just going to limit it to indie, not just going to limit it to club music. I'm not just going to limit it to rock music. I won't play a whole lot of country. I won't play a whole lot of rap unless people request it. But that's most of the time I don't listen to that. Most of the time it is club music, indie music, newer stuff. But I want to play all of the songs that I feel will help you explore the vast, vast library that is music. So I wanted to go through a little bit of history of music and just kind of maybe the last 100 years and how we've gotten to where we are. I don't know why I have that part up there. I'll get into that later. Oh, I know why. Never mind. So there are three parts of a song. There are the lyrics, the beat, and just the general music itself. 90% of the music within the last 30 years has been missing at least one of these parts. Not necessarily missing it, but just really, really screwed it up. Music in the 60s, 50s, 60s, it had to be perfect. The reason was greats like Frankie Valli, Dion, Elvis, Frankie Lyman. Most of the time, they performed live. So they went out on a stage and all they had is a microphone. They didn't have any voice changing music. They didn't have any balancers, any faders, anything. All that they had was their voice. So if their voice sucked, they didn't go on stage. They didn't get the record deals. Um, when when people wanted to listen to their music and it wasn't live, people cars didn't come with a radio. That was usually an expensive accessory, kind of in the 70s. Um, Very rarely did people have even a record player in their house. I mean, it was an expensive thing back then. Um, Most people had to go down to either see it live or they went down to the diner, the bar, where they had a jukebox. If you don't know what a jukebox is, look it up online. It's this big old colorful thing. If you ever hear anybody singing about the neon rainbow, that's the jukebox. Um, you'd push a button, its little arm would come out, it'd move the little tiny record over, and eventually move to CDs, but it moved the tiny record over, and that's how you'd listen to the music. And everybody had to listen to whatever music that you played. You put in 2/4 or whatever. Um, Ask your parents; they know what a jukebox is. um, During the 70s and 80s, music became a lot more political, especially for civil rights, for protesting against the Vietnam War. If you've ever heard of Creedence Clearwater Revival, all of their music is essentially hippies protesting. Um, and some of the music was good. I like Creedence. I think their music is actually quite good. Um, but not all the music was super good. That's why most of the music from the 70s didn't really last. Um, your I wouldn't say your grandparents mostly listened to it because the older generations don't listen to very much music anymore. But if any of those bands were mentioned in during the 70s, they would know who they are. Um, there's a very rare selection. I won't say a very rare selection. There's a very small um, minority is probably a good word, of people who listen and like 90s music. 90s music being the Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, um, what's another one? Kiss is actually a 90s band, usually kind of in the 80s, but later into the 90s. Um, those kind of bands where pop was just becoming popular and the music was really bad, in my personal opinion. The Backstreet Boys are not very good. I honestly can't stand very much 90s music. I like the Baha Men. I think they have good songs. Again, they're not American, so it's not hard to see why. Just because they were, I don't want to say Polynesian, that's not the right word. They were more island guys, and I think island guys do better at singing. But I I'm not a huge fan of the 90s music, and most people aren't, unless you grew up in the 90s, unless you were in your 20s in the 90s. Those people who were, so pretty much your parents, they still like 90s music. They think it's good, which is fine, but it doesn't really appeal to any other generation. So after Britney Spears and that whole thing kind of came out, she went into rehab. The whole, she was lip syncing thing came out. Music kind of died out. Um, People just stopped listening to music. It wasn't really good anymore. They got tired of it. And nothing changed. Nothing was new. And then Coldplay came out. Coldplay, if you ever get a chance to watch the memorial for Steve Jobs, uh, the writer for Coldplay and the, lead singer talked about how before they even became big, they actually performed for Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs told them they weren't any good, they weren't going to go anywhere, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, not true. But Coldplay started almost a revolution. Sorry. Viva La Vida was their first major hit, and it really brought music back. The reason is that it was completely new. Music in the 90s was very electronic, very I want to say almost stagnant. It didn't the beat didn't change too much. It was just very the only thing I can think of when I think of 90s music is like the knee-high socks and the workout jumpsuits and like the whole 90s scene. It wasn't enough to carry on more than a few years. Coldplay's music, when it started, I'm sure if you may not recognize the name Viva La Vida, but if you hear the song, you'll recognize it. It's extremely popular, and it's one of those songs that it fills you from head to toe with feelings. It's almost hard to explain. But all of those three topics, the lyrics, the music, and the beat, they sync perfectly in that song. If I were to give that song a rating, it would be an A, probably even an A plus. Um, Coldplay is very good at making music. Debatably, they're probably the best band out there. They're not my personal favorite, but they're probably the best at making music in the industry. And I hope the last album they released wasn't their last album. So once they started coming out with this new music, a lot of artists came out of the woodworks and started replicating their style, started replicating their sound, essentially. And as it became popular in the early thousands, it became what is known today as the indie movement. Now, the indie is probably, I'd say, probably the most popular genre at the moment. It's pretty huge, and what do I want to say? It's pretty huge and it's expanding. Music started slowly sliding towards pop again with people like Lady Gaga. When Miley Cyrus came out, it started becoming more like pop. People like Bob, or B.O.B., I used to call him Bob, Black Eyed Peas. They stirred it up a little bit, but they're not super popular anymore. Indies kind of come back with the Imagine Dragons, Walk the Moon. They're the biggest names in music right now. I honestly can't explain why bad music becomes popular. Lady Gaga is not good, guys. I'm sorry. Miley Cyrus, she's not good either. I honestly can't explain why they're good, why they're popular. I don't know. I do not know why What Does the Fox Say became popular. I honestly hate the song. One of my good friends who his mind, the best way to put it is he's a walking, talking iPod. Not just that he knows the titles of songs and bands, like he can sing the entire song perfectly. Pitch, lyrics, music, all of it. Sing it right before your eyes, and you'll just stand there with your mouth open. It is ridiculous. He kind of opened my eyes a little bit about that song. Told me that the song was designed because the artist wanted to create a song that they thought they wanted to prove that any song could be popular. Essentially, they wanted to prove that even something so terrible as that, people would make it popular. It's just what the people do. People, they're very curious. They don't, although we are the most cognitive and deep thinkers of all of the species on Earth, we don't always do that. But so that's why we make songs like What Does the Fox Say Popular, or Gangnam Style, or what's her name? I want to say Jessica Black, but that doesn't sound right. The girl that sings Friday. Now, we made it popular because it was so bad that it was funny, but it's still somehow everyone knows that song. Anyways, point is, that is kind of the introduction, kind of the 2 rules of music, a little bit of history of how we got to where we are music-wise. Sorry. My next video will be a song. I know which song it is. I've listened to the song quite a bit. The reason is that I gave the person who suggested the song, I gave them the song, so I know exactly what song it is. Actually, and I'll probably put out the video, I'll probably record the video and put it out right now since it's 7:17 and I still don't feel like playing video games. That's how lazy I am. College is bad, guys. No, just kidding, go to college. But, so that is my first music school video. School of Rock. Totally. Well, alright. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you guys think. If you have any differing opinions, I'd love to hear them. I'm always looking to learn and perfect the way that I listen to music. And I'm always definitely looking for new music. If you've got a song that you like, let me know. I'll listen to it. I'll do a video about it. If there's any songs you want to see a video of, please let me know, post it, and I'll add it to the list and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Bye.